Good morning and welcome to the latest instalment of my construction of the DJH A8 kit. And if you remember last time we fixed the boiler in place and started putting the boiler fixtures on. What we're going to do now is we're going to carry on with page 10 of the instructions, which consists of basically fitting more boiler fittings and detailing the outside of the body. What I've done first, I've drilled some holes over this side, which you may be able to see. There's one there and there's one tiny one just below where my finger is. The smaller hole is for the ejector. Sorry, just get this back in focus. New camera as well, folks. So yeah, so the smallest hole, which is 0.55 millimeters, is for the drain for the vacuum ejector, and the large hole is for the vacuum ejector elbow, which is on this particular sprue of lost metal white parts. It's this bit down the bottom here below my finger, and what I've done with this, I've drilled out the middle that is going to accept the rod. I've drilled that out 0.75 and then 1.6 millimeters, so the rod, which is 1.6 millimeter, fits nicely into the hole. And I'll just try it quickly, and as you can see, it fits nicely into the hole. I've also used the vernier on the end that goes into the boiler to make sure that the hole in the boiler is the correct size, and that's 1.6 millimeters too. So I'm going to do this first and do the drain pipe as well, and then we'll move on to fitting some more of the bits and pieces that need to go on before we move over to the cab. I'm going to leave the smoke box door off for the moment. That can be fitted at any time really. So some of the next bits that we've got to fit are the steps on the boiler front. There's two of those, and there is also a part, if I can find it, this part here, if you can see it. I can't hold it too close to the camera because it's quite dark. It's actually spitting with snow outside, so I'm a bit limited on the lighting. I may go and get I've got some portable lights downstairs. I may go and get one of those in shortly, so that it's a little bit better. But anyway, this lamp iron, which fits at the top of the boiler in the top position here at the top of the boiler, has actually got one of the handrail knobs cast into it, and you need to fit that before you do the handrail. So much the same as I normally do, I'm going to go away, I'm going to start doing that, and I will come back and let you know if I have any problems. One little thing before I go away and start doing this rod, which is, there are two lengths of 1.6 millimeter rod in the kit, and if you buy the kit and start to make it and get to this stage, you will discover why there are two bits. Basically, this bit runs from the smoke box to the cab front, and then there's another bit that runs from the rear of the cab inside across the top of the tank extension to the brake valve. They're done in two parts. The reason behind that will become quite evident later when I start doing the inside of the cab. But basically, with the diagram 63A boiler, which this one is fitted with, there has to be a slight joggle in this bit of the what represents the vacuum ejector pipe, and with that in mind I've annealed it using a gas torch prior to starting the recording. But when you get to the inside of the cab, you will see that there is another piece of joggling required in this pipe, which is inside the cab. So if it was one length of metal, which would seem sensible at first viewing, it would be virtually impossible, well, it would be impossible to actually joggle the wire inside the cab. There's not an awful lot of room, plus the inside of the cab is cast white metal, cast pewter parts, so it isn't an option to put this through the spectacle plate straight and then anneal it inside, because the parts inside would more than likely be damaged. So that's why it's in two halves. There is a false spectacle plate inside in the kit, which you will see if you get it, which traps the glazing for the front spectacle plate, and that will nicely hide the join between the two lengths of rod. So anyway, I'll go away, I'll start doing this, and then I'll come back shortly, and if I run into any problems I'll let you know what they are. Okay, so I've been away and I've fitted the vacuum ejector pipe, the elbow and the drain pipe, which you may just be able to see. Don't worry too much about the route of the drain pipe, because seldom did it go straight down. It tended to go all over the place. It was a fitting that was quite vulnerable, and the pipe got bent. So if you remember my my photograph of my prototype, there, the drain pipe is here. On this one it goes straight down and then it goes along the footplate and then it disappears, so it doesn't really matter too much which way your one goes. This pipe and the elbow are quite difficult to fit once it's annealed, because any type of pressure on the rod tends to bend it, so be very careful when you do it. And another good reason for leaving the front smoke box door off is that you can solder these fittings from the inside, so it tends to disguise any solder marks that you may leave on the outside. And then what I've done is I've soldered it lightly to the front spectacle plate and then cut it off. If you remember, I said that there's a full spectacle plate inside, and that will disguise the pipe join, because you're going to need to use two lengths of pipe, because that's what's supplied in the kit. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on, and we are going to start fitting more fittings on the front and the side of the boiler. And the next things that we're going to fit are the parts that I mentioned earlier, which are the front footsteps and the middle handrail support. Just the same as usual, tin, and then use white metal solder to hold it in place for all three parts. And then I will go and I will do the safety valves, and I will mention the options that you have. There are a couple of options. You can have the safety valves on the boiler, or you can have a cowl with the safety valves sort of recessed into them, and they're all valid for whatever type of boiler you choose. Even for within the Diagram 63A boiler, there were a number of variations, and all are equally valid. Other parts that we're going to fit is on this particular locomotive, it does not have firebox washout plugs. It has manhole covers, and again These are just about visible on the photograph of the prototype. There's 2 manhole covers on that side. I will fit those are etched parts. I'll probably leave those till last and use super glue to fit those, because there's not an awful lot of room to fit them. So we'll just carry on with that. I will go away and I will fit these parts, and then I'll come back and show you what I've done. Okay, we are back again, and we have done quite a large bit of work this time. What we've done is we've fitted the tank supports, which are these rectangular parts here, white metal, one on either side. The one on the side with the vacuum injector pipe goes under the pipe, so it may be advisable to fit that before you fit the pipe. However, if you've got to this stage and you've already fitted the pipe, that's going to be a little bit of a moot point. So the other things we've done, we've fitted the front steps, one on either side. We've fitted the top lamp iron, which is integral with the handrail. We've fitted the handrail. We've fitted the 2 absolutely minute parts, 79. Now, a little word of caution here. These are very tiny. They're half etched parts, and there are no spares. So if you lose one like I did, a 14 BA washer will probably be okay if you've got one. It doesn't look at first glance as though there's anything suitable on the etch, but I found something suitable knocking around, so that's been sorted. I've fitted the steam heat pipes front and back, and the vacuum pipes front and back. I've also fitted the safety valves. These were white metal soldered from below, drilled out the holes. They're 2mm holes for the ones without the cowl around the top. Soldered those in from below, white metal solder. I fitted a whistle. Now there's a choice of 5 whistles, would you believe it, in this kit, and ignore what the instructions say. What you will fit will depend on the period that you are modelling, because these boilers were still used in BR days. This is going to be a BR liveried locomotive. They didn't all have the diagram 63C or D boilers, which are noticeable because the boiler cladding is not the same thickness of the smoke box. They instruct you to use this whistle, which is basically a bell whistle on an isolating valve for the diagram for BR period, and it says diagram 63C and D. This whistle is valid for BR periods on this boiler. However, what I've fitted is I have fitted the NER whistle, which was used on this, and it used to consist of an organ pipe and a bell whistle. But in BR days, or early BR days, what they did is they just removed the organ pipe, whistle. So you have a whistle which is by itself off to one side, and if you look at the picture you can just about see the top of the whistle just over the top of the roof. The other thing that I have done is I've fitted the 5 etched covers. There's 2 on the left hand side of the locomotive and 3 on the right. The etched, probably see them better, maybe, yeah, you could just about see them along here. Along here there's 3 etched covers over the washout plugs, and you will have to check your locomotive whether they had the covers or whether they had just the ends like you see on a lot of LNER locomotives. As you can see from my locomotive, if you can see it without the sun bleaching it out too much, this one has got the manhole covers, so that's what I've done. I have rerouted the vacuum ejector drain pipe because I wasn't satisfied with it the first time round, and all in all this section is all but complete. I'm not going to fit the roof because I'd rather the roof be off while doing the cab interior. So all I've got to really do is fit the smoke box door, and there are some tiny etched parts which go on the top of the boiler rings, which are the straps for securing the boiler rings. There's 3 on the top and 1 underneath, and I will do those in time for the next time round. We'll just check to see what we've got anything else we've got to do on 11. No, we've just about done everything that we need to do. All that we've got left to do, apart from the boiler strap things, are the injectors, sorry, not ejectors, the injectors, and we will do them the next time round because you need the chassis in place to do that. So anyway, thank you for watching. This is the end of this part, and as I've got a little bit of time off work, I will try and do the next video maybe later this week or early next week. Thank you for watching.